Hey, everybody, it's me, Jonathan Millard, the voice of the Vale, and welcome to another Big Hype podcast brought to you in association with Hype Energy Drinks and Bravos Boxing Equipment and Gloves. Links are in the bio. Please go and check them out. They have some fantastic deals. But right now, joining me in the studio, i.e. via his house from Chesterfield all the way, please give it up and welcome Jack Dillingham.
No, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Mate, thank you so much. It's good to have you on the show. And we were talking before we came on air just about some bits and bobs. Young career, still a young career, and I think there's still a lot to come from you, Jack. So let's ask the question I ask everyone, which is how and why did you get involved in boxing?
I think it's just my dad was a boxer. My brother was a boxer, and then I've got a lot of boxers in my family, but mainly because of my dad. My dad's been a coach for about 30 years now, in and out of other amateur gyms. And then when I was really young, I'd say probably about 4, he set up his own gym in Pilsley, which is the village where I'm from. And just ever since then, I've just trained with him. I have been in and out of it when I was more when I was younger, and then when I got to teenage age, I started to really push on and enjoy it and get a real taste for it.
So when you say you were in and out of it, what were you doing in and out of it? Just doing other things, just trying different things
when
out,
I was
seeing what you...
When I was probably from 5 to maybe 12, 13, okay. I was really good at football, so I preferred playing football, and I just did that over boxing. I still trained all the time, but it wasn't a main priority for me. And then when I got to 12, 13, I'd had a good amount of fights, and I started to really enjoy it and stuff like that. And then I obviously started to get better, do better in tournaments, and beat good lads. And then I've never really looked back, to be honest.
So it wasn't that you just stopped doing one and then did the other. You kind of did both for a little while, I guess.
I carried it on all till I was about 18, to be honest, and maybe even a bit older. When COVID came, I stopped because I couldn't box. I started playing football, and then I got to a decent level with my football, and then I was looking. It was looking like I was going to try and go down my football route, and then we're non-league football and stuff like that. It's really tough. It's not. People aren't very straightforward with you and stuff like that. And then my dad just got me back in the gym every day, and I think I just knew that boxing. I'm better at boxing, and I just knew that was the route I wanted to go down in the end.
And you say obviously Dad has been a big figure, obviously, in what you've been doing and in pushing you forward. And obviously, he's got a passion for it as well as as yourself. So and your brother as well.
Yeah, my brother, he had a lot of amateur fights. I think he represented England maybe once. He was quite good. He got an injury when he was younger. He's got this unique condition with his eyes, and basically if he wouldn't be allowed to, he had to stop because he weren't allowed to box no more due to his eyesight. He didn't want to damage it even more. But he was meant to be pretty good. But by the time I could remember anything, he'd stopped by then. So I never got to see him or anything like that.
So older brother, older dad, father, obviously as well involved in boxing. So boxing was just there in the blood, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. So moving on, then obviously you had a bit of an amateur career before you turned professional. Your brother had a bit of a pedigree. You had a bit of a pedigree as well.
Yeah, I trained with England. I never got a chance to fight for them. I was a representative for, I think it was for a season, for a full season. But I had European trials and that, but they never picked me for a fight. I don't think my face fit, to be honest. I always did well in sparring. I always trained hard, but I think they had the people they wanted to push on, and that's what they did. I got to a national final. I got to quarters and semis numerous times, but I just never could get my hands on one. I would always seem to get so close, but it always felt like I just couldn't get over the line when I was younger, really. I think I put too much pressure on myself, to be honest, and I think that's helped me now, because now I'm older. I think when you're older, you get a bit more, you're less you're kind of less bothered, really. You kind of just think, stuff it. I'd rather go in there and give it everything and lose than go in there and not give it everything and regret losing from not trying. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of my mindset as I've grown up. Because I think I used to put that much pressure on myself. It used to affect how I boxed in the main fights. Whereas now every fight's a pressure fight. As a professional, every fight means everything because it's all about going up. There's no in amateurs you can lose and it's a step back to take a step forward. Whereas in pros it can really ruin a lot of things if it all goes wrong.
Okay. I'm going to argue with you a little bit on that because we were chatting about this the other day with someone else on this, and with the pro, we'll come to it now in a minute. But I think the pro game, I think it's important. You know, the O isn't that important to be.
It's definitely changing,
but it certainly has changed within after COVID. I think before what you're saying is absolutely right, and I'm not trying to sort of knock you because you are 5-0. That's the 5-0, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're looking at me like I'm saying something else. No, but for 5-0, it's still an impressive position to be in. I'm not taking anything away from any of the fights when I say this, but obviously what I'm sort of saying is that if there was a loss that came forward, I would hope that it's only come because of an injury. Not that you want to get injured at all in any way, shape, or form. Please understand that. It would be a justified reason for it because you are challenging yourself back, and that's what I'm getting from you. That you want the challenge in fights rather than
definitely
the easy walks. Which although easy walks are nice, and you can learn a damn sight lot from a lot of the journeymen that are on our scene. I know quite a lot of them as well. I've called that many of them. And you all know that they've got hundreds of fights to their name, but you also know that they're there to do something. They're there to educate you for a particular reason. I'm not trying to sort of say that in any way, shape, or form that's not a bad thing. It is a good thing. It's also understandable that if you got a loss, it wouldn't be
it's not the end of the world.
No, it wouldn't be the end. That's what I'm trying
to
sort of say.
You're not done if you don't win. People, I think the media definitely jump on it, like especially with the top prospects, like they're very onto them and stuff like that. But a lot of them, like now as well, because a lot of lads are turning over at such a young age. And I just think like a lot of them, the experience is just, I think it is important to have a lot of experience in amateurs just to like bring you on and to develop before you do turn professional. And
so what was your amateur record then? Do you remember? I know it's a while ago.
I had like 52 and I think I won around 30. Something like that, so it was pretty respectable. But I did fight a lot.
66% roughly, win over,
probably a bit
60%
less. But I did fight a lot of like top quality lads. Like there weren't many. When I was younger, obviously you don't know where everyone's at, and like you might go and fight a lad and him not be anywhere near as good as you. But when you get to a certain age and you start to know what lads are where and who you're going to pop up against, like they're all pretty good lads. So I did do well against a lot of them. I did beat a lot of them, but I also couldn't get across the line with a few of them and stuff like that. It's all brought me on. It's all made me a lot better of a fighter because a lot of amateurs, especially now, they duck people or they protect their records when it don't really matter. Whereas I always fought everyone whenever.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be involved with the amateurs scene as well, so I used to referee, used to be judge, and I used to. I still occasionally, whenever I possibly can, go to the shows and watch because it's always good to see. And if I can, I'll call as well because I like to I like to announce to them at shows as well. And it gives them a little bit of being announced by a professional. Some of them may not go any further than that. Some of them might, and I could turn around and say, well, that guy there, I announced him in the juniors and the amateurs, and that for me is a bit of a bonus. But what I'm sort of saying is obviously you who's on the scene with you. Locally around your area, then you kind of elaborate into it, and then you go, as you say, into England and into that different arena, into the international then arena as well, and you start to do and come across different people and different levels. I guess that's what you're saying there, Jack. And that's obviously stood you in good grounding to go off and try and see that to get to the pro arena. So you turned over pro with I love how you say when you're a bit older, you're only 22 now, Joe.
Well,
but you turned over pro in 23, so only 2 years ago now, but just over 2 years ago. Not really 2 years yet. It's a year and 18 months realistically.
Yeah, I only had my
between
first
fights?
fight in September, so
Yeah.
it's
How do you
well,
remember your
not last
debut?
September, September before. Pardon?
Do you remember the debut?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It
Yeah.
were I were very. I wasn't really nervous, to be honest. I just wanted to get
Hmm.
in there. I knew it's one of the best I felt going into a fight. But to be honest, since then, the last few camps have just been brilliant. Like
Good.
I think since I've like really knuckled down on like my strength and conditioning and like timing, and I'm getting more used to it. And I've had like a day before weighing and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
Like I've definitely like feeling like the what's I don't know what the word is. I'm feeling a lot better from like
Good.
having day before weigh-ins, and it's like
Good.
a better feeling than like weighing in on the day and not like say especially if you're cutting
Yeah.
down. But my debut, it was like I rushed my debut a bit with my fight. The actual boxing I did, it was a bit rushed. Like I really hit him hard, and I were excited and all of them feelings. Like it weren't very calculated, and he
Okay.
did come at me for it. He did give me a few shots to make me remember because I did fight someone who had a good record as well. Like he wasn't no like walkover, and then I
Yeah, and
stopped him
you
in the
stopped him.
third.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. You stopped him in the third.
Yeah,
That speaks volumes for your debut as well. And
yeah,
that's obviously put you in thing. Obviously, your corner, your coach, your family as well around you, sort of watching and cheering you on. I
yeah.
guess as well. How was it like to have dad and family there, shouting and cheering
My
you on as
dad's
well?
quite. Very quiet when I box. Like he doesn't. He kind of like. He might
Okay.
shout a bit of information, but he's not really like. My rest of my family, they're just crackers. Like, you just go bonkers. They do like they're not. They half of the stuff they shout. I don't. They just. I don't hear much of it, but they go nuts. But my dad,
Yeah.
he'll just
Yeah.
shout like good information here and there and stuff because he knows
Good.
what he's on about. And then like he's very like he like just absorbs it and watches it and enjoys it. I think my dad does because he's trained me over so many years.
Yeah.
So then now I think he just likes to pass me on to Scott and like just enjoy what he's kind of made. To be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, there are two types of parents. I think you described them there quite vividly. There's one that's just sit there and go, "Yep,
Yeah,
yeah, that's it, yeah." Or then there's the ones that just go up the wall and scream and shout and
yeah,
and jump up and down and yeah, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so it's good that you've got that balance in that family. Obviously, and
yeah, definitely.
dad's watching and he's calculating, he's going, yeah, and
Yeah,
feeding the information back to you as when appropriately. So
yeah.
yeah, good
He's
stuff.
always watching, always. Like he watches a lot of lads around my weight and stuff like that, and he's like if Scott like brings up a lad like maybe for future, like my dad will have
Yeah.
already watched him. Like he's watched people in and around me all
Mm-hmm.
the time.
Mm-hmm.
He knows my limits and like where he thinks I'm at right now, and he has his own opinion because to him, like I'm the best fighter there's gonna be because I'm his son. You know what I mean?
Of
It's
course.
just how my dad is. But he does watch a lot of boxing,
Yeah.
like a lot of it. He's always studying. Like whereas I'm not so much. I obviously do watch stuff and I do like. I think it's important to like video analysis and stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
don't like absorb on it like he does so much. He like picks it apart for me.
But that's what that's sometimes a really good thing to have. I mean,
Yeah,
and as a dad of myself, I mean, I always want the best for my kids,
yeah, definitely.
100%. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them grow to the best but full potential. So dad's doing just what dads want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, hats off to your dad for that and respect him for that as well, because it's good to have that person in that corner that's
Oh,
rooting for you all
definitely.
the time. And
Yeah,
but like you say, he's understanding. He's going, well, I think I know how my son ticks on this case. If I do that, and if we
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
this one, and that's good to help you. So is he involved in the management side? Is he involved in who you take? Do you consult him on
Not,
everything and most things,
not
or
really. Scott will just say like, "What do you think?" And most of the
hmm,
time, I just say yeah anyway because I'm not really bothered. And then my dad
take them
just
as a
says yeah, and then my dad will just watch a lot of them. My next opponent, my dad's already like he'll have watched most of his fights already, and we only known like a few weeks who it's going to be. And he knows like when my dad pads me as well, he doesn't like it's not as full fast paced as with Scott. He
hmm,
like drills like little shots that he thinks will be important for the fight, but he doesn't like with my dad it's more just like ticking over
hmm,
sessions. Like he wants to be involved, but he doesn't want to be like too involved because
okay,
obviously he wants Scott to just do his thing and let him have control. He don't
yeah,
want you don't want me listening to two people at the same time. You know what I mean? Stick
That's
to
fair
like
enough.
one thing.
Fair enough. When you're in camp as well, do you do anything different that you think, or you think is different, perhaps to others? That you know how other camps go. Scots for centre. That you do things differently to others.
To be honest, I'm very regimental. I just do whatever I'm told to do. So unless Scott says any different, I just do whatever he says. So if I'm told to go and do a run at this time, I'll go and do a run at this time. I do like my running, but with my strength and conditioning coach at the minute, Train for Front, Callum Emley, he's basically put me on like a leash a little bit to like stop my running so much, and just told me to like stick to what he tells me to do, like his sessions and that. So I do, because I do like to do a lot of running, but at the minute this is like the first camp I've had where like I've let people take control of my conditioning, and I do actually feel all right for it. But you don't really know until you fight. Like normally I do that much running, I just know I'm fit enough and I'm in good nick.
Yeah, without saying too much of obviously what you're doing, because we don't give too much away, because this is going to go out before the fight. This is Scott Kalo's show in the Rushcliffe Arena in Nottingham on the 20th of March. So this is going to go out before that, but obviously your conditioning at the moment is more towards the strength side of it, I'm guessing, and rather than on the cardio and the speed, or is it the speed?
To be honest, I couldn't.
All right, okay. I'll leave it there.
I'm awful with this. I just do what they tell me. I couldn't even tell you myself. I just know that sometimes I'm lifting weights and sometimes I'm doing high jumps and sometimes I'm running miles and sometimes I'm not.
Good man. Oh, before we get to the fight that we've already touched on, you are 5-0 at the moment. That's obviously come through. The second, third, and fourth fight all went the distance, and you moved from 4 to 6 in those as well. Again, some tough opponents in there, and some game lads that were looking for some wins as well, but winning all three convincingly on the point side of it there from that one. And then obviously we have the show which I announced to you in the last one in Rushcliffe Arena in Nottingham. Scott Kalo show again. Angel.
Yeah.
And the TKO stop for him in that one as well, for you in that one. Talk us how that one went.
Big Hype Podcast, sponsored by Hype Energy Drinks.
To be honest, I went into. I remember but when I was warming up, he was stood around me and he looked really pumped up. He looked like he was ready to fight and that. And I knew that he was going to come at me because I'd seen clips on him, and I knew I thought from early on he was going to rush me, but he didn't. And I just worked my jab. I think it's always important to get your jab working, try and get your range as soon as possible, because as soon as you get your range, then you can start to get into your flow. And I got my jab going, and I didn't really want to drop him as quickly as I did. The shot just came and I just threw it. It wasn't like I didn't put any power into it or I didn't add anything to it. It just hit that sweet spot and he just went down. So it wasn't like a planned attack.
Yeah, sitting ringside, it was beautiful. So let's just say that it was beautiful. Like you said, it wasn't anything that led to it, or it was nothing that you sort of, and the everything just went in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And that was the end of the fight in the second, and that was everything's just come together. And I feel that from what we've talked about now, knowing you now and getting to that point, actually that is probably from what you've done before that's led up to the knowledge, your dad's input, Scott's input, and that knowing now what your ability is and where you can go. I think that's why I think there's more to come from you. I think there's a lot more to come in that capacity as well. So that night was a good night. I enjoyed that night.
It wasn't bad. It was a lot of good fights on.
There was a lot of great fights on. I've had a few of them on the podcast already. I'm sure I've got more to come as well from Scott as well. So it's again that crop that he seems to be developing there and growing, you were part of that as well. I mean, there's certainly a good stable that Scott's got coming together there as well.
Oh, definitely.
Obviously wishing you every success in what goes on. So obviously where we are at the moment, 5-0, 6 already. We know what the 6th fight is now. We've got that booked in already. Where would you like your career to go, Jack? Where would you, where ideally would you sort of say, well, I'd like to get to this, that, and that?
everyone would like to obviously go to the top and be like, obviously it'd be lovely to like go all the way, but obviously that's not this, especially at this point in my career, it's not a realistic goal. But anything's possible. I think as long as you work hard, I'm just going to keep working hard. I definitely think I can make it to a good level where I'll be able to like do boxing full time and make it my life and be able to live off it. And I do believe in my ability. I know what I'm capable of. And I just think people, they might not be watching now, but they will be, especially within the next year, I think people will know my name and will be looking at me. So I'm just excited to get on with it, really.
I'm with you on that one. Yeah, this is about putting the legwork in at the moment. You know, like the amateurs was the apprenticeship, is what a lot of people sort of say.
Yeah.
This is now moving in from, you know, the divisions and up into the Premier divisions, if there are such things in boxing. I'm not really thinking, but the opportunities should come, you know. And when people start recognizing that you're out there and about and you're doing what you're doing, you know, people start going, well, actually, I wouldn't mind having a crack at him because he seems a bit of a spark. He's got something about him. You know, you just need one or two people on your eyes. And, you know, when we're at the boxing shows, you know, there's always different cornerman coaches, promoters who pop along to shows and take notice, and they might just catch, you know, the end of that fight and think, actually, damn, you know, that's a So I know there's more to come from this, and I'm trying to sort of think, but yeah, world championship, obviously, that would be nice.
That's everyone's dream. So.
Exactly. I'm no different. I'd love a world championship. just to announce it just once. That's all I'm happy. I'd be happy with that. You know, there's obviously those. Is there anything else though? You think actually, you know, I wouldn't mind. For a lot of people, it's the British. You know, because we've got such a lovely, beautiful British belt in boxing. You know, there's area titles, there's other things. Are you sort of open to all opportunities? Are you sort of I'd like to do that, and then get to.
There's nothing really that I'm bothered about ticking off or anything like that. I don't really look that far into the future. I'm always like, just take it a day at a time and get to the gym, get my session done, put everything in, and then like I don't really look that far forward. Like I think it's best not to right now. Just keep looking at the person in front of me. Don't get too excited by opportunities that I'm getting or by offers that people are making. Just like try and keep a level head, because I think as soon as you don't, that's when you get caught out, really. And I really don't want that to happen to me, because it's just something that I've worked on all my life, and it'd be a shame to get like lackadaisical and lose it all from like maybe arrogance or like just being like self-centered or something like that.
I know where you're coming from. I know where you're coming from. I also think as well in boxing, as you may have found out already, fights fall through.
Yeah,
people pull out, and you know you're left where you thought you had an opportunity to do something.
Yeah,
and so and so has pulled out. You know, I've seen that enough times. I've seen the heartbreak that, you know, some boxers that, you know, even the same day they kind of come in and then the guy's weighed over or weighed massively under, and the board have gone, no, this isn't happening.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you know, understandably then the frustrations that you said and you mentioned there that you don't want to get carried away with and think,
No.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. So cool. Obviously we've done, let's say for argument's sake, we've done everything. We've got everything done. We've got the cabinet full of gold and silvers and whatever else, belts you can collect. You've got a nice big collection of gold and silverware. What would Jack like to do? Where would Jack like to see himself in a 20 years time sort of place?
My dream is just to buy a big camper van and just travel Europe, and that's all I'd do. I'd just get a camper van and just travel all of Europe, and maybe venture into like Asia, or just go wherever I could and just see as much as I can. And that's it for me, really. I just want to enjoy. I just want to see as much as I can. I do love travelling. I do love going on holiday. It's like very important to me. I like eating good food and just relaxing and enjoying time, because when you're a boxer there's not much time to relax. It's very intense and a lot of the time, and it's the most quality time you have is when you're just chilling with your family and your friends and your loved ones, really. So that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, I don't think some people maybe who listen to this that don't understand that obviously it isn't just a weekend sport. It's not, you know, it is a week-long sport where
Yeah,
you're
it's
always in the
every
gym,
day.
you're always training every day, 365, always waiting for that opportunity, always waiting for the next opportunity, and particularly when you're younger as well. Obviously, like you said, you want to make an impact in the sport and have, get your name and get some respect put on your name.
Yeah, that's it.
And people to recognize that and sort of go, Jack Dillingham is the next British champion, is the next Commonwealth silver champion, is the next, and then ultimately, obviously, is the British champion, is the world champion, and get that totally and utterly sort of respect for that as well. But good stuff, man. I think I think you've nailed it on the head. A perfect dream afterwards, mate. I think it's a beautiful little one wandering around Europe. I'd love to do that right now.
Yeah, definitely.
In taking off. Would you go into the coaching route as well, like Dad, or would you sort of?
I don't. My dad always says that I will, but I don't think I'd want to do it, but I wouldn't want to do it with my dad trains some lads and they'll have never done boxing before, from the base straight away. He'll train people, and I just don't think I got the patience for that. He's done it that many years. He obviously knows how much he can push certain people, and he knows different characteristics of people because he's just had to cope with that many. But I don't think I could go into coaching. I feel like I'd have to see after my career what I'd feel, to be honest.
It's a long way away yet. We haven't got to make real decisions on it yet. I posed it because Dad's already doing something. Perhaps you follow footsteps. You follow some footsteps, I think, obviously, but it's good that you see you're making your own path, and obviously I'm sure your dad will respect that as well. So that's good as well. Random question: has anything happened to you in the ring that you think actually that's a bit crazy?
One of the fights. Well, I've had two of the fights. I had the guys were just I was hitting them, and they was one of them, especially Duran, he was giggling when I was laughing at him, but I knew I was hurting him. He was trying to take me off my game plan. But the thing is with him is he was just tucked up in a box the whole fight. So it was really, I couldn't really, he covered up so well, but he wasn't coming towards me. He was just constantly going away, and then he'd throw a few bombs, and that was it really. But he was really strange. Then after the fight, you could see he was in a whole heap of pain. But during the fight, you'd have not thought it because he was playing a certain character to the crowd as well. Okay. And then the one at Sheffield, he was wild. I think because I was hitting him with such good, powerful shots. He was up for it though, and I enjoyed that. It was good for me because I could tell he wasn't there just to let me have it all my own way. But I think he knew he couldn't. I think he knew technically I was levels above him.
Yeah.
But he was beating his chest, and he was getting really psyched and that. And I did enjoy it, but I knew just to stick to what I'm doing and not get drawn into any sort of. Even though I do like a nice little scrap and a war from the inside, if you're winning on the outside, there's no need to do it. Knocks numbers off years off your fighting career as well if you're always in wars. So if you're going to be in a war, you may as well do it at the right time when stuff really matters. So that's really. But they were both very strange characters, to be honest. They don't speak any English, but they definitely were eye openers just for to say how much damage they was getting. They were still pushing in. They still got these journeymen are strong men. They're not just I think you do see some and you think Jesus, but some of them are really, really tough men. They really are. They can take some fist and they can give it as well. They can dish it out. So that's about that really for them.
In the pro side of it, I know pro side you're not as active. Some of the others that are on the semi pro circuit, should we call it that?
Yeah.
They're out every weekend and possibly even twice on a weekend, and they take fights, and they like you say, they're tough. They're tough opponents, and they're nothing to take away from them at all in that capacity.
No,
but it's good that you listened and you're showing your education, your boxing IQ here by saying I'm not going to get into a war because I don't want to get into a war because it's going to take.
I think that's ego. If I was to get into a war with them, that's my ego taking over. If there's no need to and you're winning. Like, why would you? You don't need to prove you're stronger than him if you're beating him anyway, do you? You don't need to prove that you're tougher or anything like that, because that's when one of them will catch you. One day, one of them might get you, and then you've.
Yeah.
Not saying like it's all gone up in smoke, but it's just another dint in your record that you didn't have to take. Whereas you'd rather, if you're gonna lose, you want to do it to a better man, to the better opponent who you think's actually like might push on to do good things. Like, you want it to be someone good, don't you? If you're gonna lose a fight, you want it to be someone that's really good.
Jack, I think you've said it again, showing your boxing IQ more than me, because I totally understand where you're coming from in this one. It's about having that opportunities and about wanting those opportunities and not getting yourself pushed into something that you don't need to get pushed into right now.
No,
keep it for the for those opportunities that come up, and
for those British titles. That's what it is.
Respect on that one, Jack, as well. Anyway, we have a little podcast closing tradition where we will ask you some either-or questions, nice and simple, nothing too complicated. So, if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Would you prefer, this is an either-ors, southpaw or orthodox?
What, to fight?
Just whatever you prefer. What do you prefer?
Well,
southpaw?
I'm an orthodox. So I've always got to stick with the orthodox boxers, haven't I? So
Okay.
I do like fighting southpaws, though. I've quite a good track record with them, so I'll just let southpaws know.
Excellent. The body shots or head shots?
I'd rather get hit in the head. Let's just say that. If you're going to get hit with a keen body shot, you're going to know about it. But if I'm hitting someone, I want them to feel it so they can have it to the body.
Fair enough. Train alone or with a partner?
I like to train alone, to be honest. I do like training with Joe Hughes and Marcus and Macaulay, but I do prefer to be by myself, to be honest.
Heavy bag, speed bag?
Heavy bag.
Underdog or favourite?
Pardon?
Underdog or favourite?
Oh, you underdog all the time. I always want the underdog to win. It's just that excitement. If they do pull it off, it's just, you get excited. It's just better when the underdog does it, to be honest. But saying that, lots of people are going to be the underdog against me, so I'd rather not go too far into that.
Boxing gym or outdoor training?
Boxing gym. Depends the weather, doesn't it? To be honest.
In the UK?
In the UK, it's indoor 100% because the weather is atrocious. It's never good.
Exactly. Short, powerful punches or long and technical?
Long and technical. Let's keep it at range.
Fight dirty, fight clean?
I think when you fight clean, like they're the most complete performances. Like, if you fight clean and they just can't touch you and you're just in sync with your body and with the flow of the fight, there's nothing better. Like, you'll come out feeling better, but if you have to make it dirty, then make it dirty. You've got to do whatever it takes to win, so either or, really.
Loud crowd or quiet atmosphere?
I like a loud crowd, but I don't mind, like, I did used to really enjoy the amateurs being the away fighter. Like, I used to really love, like, people giving me, like, loads of rubbish on the way to the wing and, like, really giving me a lot of abuse. Like, I did really used to embrace it and enjoy it. But you always want your friends and your family to be there, and I think I would always want them to be the loudest people in the room.
So you could play the heel, is what you're saying.
Oh, I would like it. Guy. I do have a lot of I did have like a really good dream like a few months ago about fighting in Mexico and having the whole crowd like lobbing like stuff at me and stuff like that as I walked to the ring and that. I know that'd definitely be something I'd enjoy.
I hope it's not a dream.
Winning away against when no one wants you to win, that must just be amazing. Like, especially if you were the underdog as well. I think that must be like. I think that's how you'd want to win like a belt, really, for me, personally.
So hopefully it's not a dream, it's a premonition of what's about to come or what
hopefully,
will come. Let's hope that as well.
I don't go too far ahead.
The quick knockout or strategic win, and which one would you rather
go for? I
would
rather have a quick knockout. It's better than putting yourself through the pain and running down the clock. I'd rather just get it over and done with. You can knock them out in the first round instead of doing, say, 10 or 12 rounds. I'd rather do that because then that's one less fight onto your body, really. It's less wear and tear.
Fair point. Hypothetical question, because I don't know if we're ever going to get this fight, but AJ versus Fury, who wins?
Oh, I think if you'd have asked me a few years ago, it'd have been Fury all the way. But I think now Fury's just getting to that age where I think he might just be slowing down in the pace of the fight. I don't really know, to be honest. I couldn't tell you. I think AJ has got the power, but if we're going like primes, I think Fury beats him all the way. I just think now they might have waited maybe a bit too long for Fury, and I think that's probably why he's not taking it, because I don't think there's any need. He was a better fighter than AJ, and I think I don't think anyone wants it as much as like they would have done maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, which is a
Coming out
shame.
the back of COVID, I think coming out the back of COVID, we all wanted that to happen.
Oh, definitely.
That was where we are. Where we are now, both of them got losses in respect. Three respective losses on the one side, 2 on the other. It is what it is, I suppose.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I still love to see it, and I'd try and get a ticket if I could go and watch it. So
if it was on, you wouldn't be missing it, would you? So
No.
it's definitely one of them. But I think Wilder AJ is the biggest slight disappointment. I think like that would have been when they was both had all the belts. Like that is the fight like I definitely wanted. Like I'd think it's one that didn't happen, and I wish it had happened. And then now, if it was to happen, I don't think anyone would really be bothered. Unfortunately,
no, I think if they put it, it probably wouldn't even be main event.
No, I don't.
I don't think
so
you can
either.
actually put it main event now. Unfortunately,
No.
like the 2 guys, but that's my opinion. Obviously,
No, I agree with you. To be honest, it's just
maybe
not
co-main event. But you need something, Anyway, Jack, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. How do people get involved? How do they follow your journey and see where you're progressing? Because I will be watching, and I'm sure others will want to watch as well.
So Instagram's just Jack Dillingham, and my Facebook's just Jack Dillingham, and that's basically the main things I'm on. Most of my fights have been on Fight Zone at the minute, so if you want to take a watch on the 22nd of March, then that's where you'll find me.
Good man. And tickets still available? Have you still got some tickets available
if
they wanted to reach out for tickets?
I've not had them long, so they've not all gone yet, but just message me on Facebook and I will sort your tickets out straight away for you.
There you go. Well, Jack, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. It's been really interesting having a chat with you and debating, and I think you've got an awful lot more to give. I think you're very an intelligent, switched on boxer. In regards as well from what you've shared with me today, and obviously you've had I can only assume from your father and Jack and Scott that this knowledge is just going to help you, and you seem to understand where you want to go and what you want to do.
Definitely.
You're quite happy where you are at the moment with everything. So I wish you every success on March 22nd, obviously, and then for the rest of your career as well going forward. As I said, I will be watching, and I'm sure others will be as well. So Jack, let's give it up one more time for Jack Dillingham.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hey, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this and follow this on all of the platforms that you're following your podcasts on, and keep it locked in for every Tuesday at 12 o'clock. We'll be launching a new podcast. So keep it on the Big Hype Podcast.